Hi everybody and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to be making a dish that maybe you've never had before, and that is a take on hash browns, a sweet potato hash brown. Then we're going to have a chicken crumb topped casserole to go alongside, and an apple coleslaw as a delicious little side dish for our casserole. We're going to get started with the casserole. Now, I have here about 2 pounds, more or less. It's not an exact science, so, approximately 2 pounds or so, or I don't know, maybe 4 cups of chicken that's already cooked. This actually is leftover chicken. I made a roast chicken the other day, 2 of them, for dinner, and I had some of the meat left over, so this is leftover just roast chicken, and then this is just leftover rotisserie chicken. So this is one of those recipes that's a great use for any leftover chicken that you have. It could be thighs, it could be leg meat, breast meat, whatever chicken you have. If you don't have any leftover chicken, you will need to either use a can of chicken that you drain, approximately, again, a couple of pounds, maybe 4 or 5 cups, because there's really not any extra ingredients. So you needed enough to be filling for the casserole dish. Or you can buy a rotisserie chicken and take the meat off of that. I find the rotisserie chickens that you buy in like Sam's or Costco are a bargain, if not the biggest bargain, along with frozen spinach. But the chickens are still under $5 for a big roast chicken, and we can easily get 2 meals out of that from my family. So that's another way of using up your leftovers. If you've got leftover chicken, by the way, and you're not planning on making anything with it anytime soon, you can freeze it. Just put it in a Ziploc bag, squeeze out as much of the air as you can, or vacuum seal it in a bag and pop it in your freezer. And then when you want to make a dish like this, you've got ready to go cooked chicken. So to go alongside or in with our chicken, I have here some sour cream. I meant to use this spoon instead of those because I want to get it all. Got some sour cream, about half a cup or so. And I like full fat. I do not like the reduced fat or fat-free sour cream. I don't think it has any flavor. Then we're going to do about half a cup of, this is the chive and onion cream cheese. You could use any flavor cream, obviously you wouldn't want to use, a real fruity flavor like peach. Well, I guess you could, probably would taste good, but this is just sour cream onion and chive cream cheese. It usually comes in a tub, and you want about half of it. A couple of tablespoons of poppy seeds. 1 can of cream of chicken soup. If you don't have cream of chicken and you've got cream of mushroom, you can use that. You could use cream of celery. Whatever you have will work in this dish. Okay. And then finally, some melted butter. About half a stick of melted butter, and then you're going to, get rid of that, just combine all of that together in a bowl. If you don't want to dirty up another bowl, use your casserole dish. It'd be fine too. I do that a lot. Save washing a dish. But for purposes that you can see through it, I like to do it in a dish for television. If I was at home, I would totally be mixing this up in the casserole dish so I don't have another dish to wash. You could add some peas to this. Maybe you wanted some vegetables in it. You could add up some diced sauteed onion and celery. That would be delicious, actually. Or mixed vegetables, green beans. You use what you like. But for the base dish, and this is delicious just like it is, I'm not adding any vegetables. I have here just a large casserole dish that I'm going to put my chicken into. You could also add some cheddar cheese to this if you wanted to, would be good. I'm a lefty. I have to do everything for the camera. It's hard sometimes when you're a left-handed person. My camera shot for that one's over there, so I got to get it just right. Get that out of my way. And you want to spread this out into your dish. This is delicious. And this would be a great dish to take to someone's home. You know, maybe they're sick or just had a baby or something, or you're going to a potluck somewhere. This would be a great dish to take. And people are going to love it. I promise you that. My hands are clean. All right. Now, for the topping, you're going to need a sleeve of crackers. I like the buttery Ritz cracker type, just one sleeve. A meat mallet if you have it. If you don't, use a hammer if you want to, a rubber hammer. You could use a rolling pin, anything that you've got. These are just so handy to have for many purposes in a kitchen. You want to crush those up. You could, if you don't have crackers like this, you could use regular saltine type crackers. I would add a little butter to them if you're using that. These I find don't need any butter. And you've got cracker crumbs. And then spread those cracker crumbs on the top of your casserole. And you could make this to this point and then cover it with foil and put it in your freezer. This would be a great freezer meal dish to have ready to go. Take it out the night before you want to cook it. Let it fall overnight in the refrigerator. And you've got a delicious, ready-to-make meal. You could make this in individual serving sizes. At home, I have a lot of little small individual, little like the aluminum foil containers. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them at the Dollar Tree. They're very handy to have for freezer meals, or if you want to take somebody a meal, and you don't have to worry about, or they don't have to worry about, returning the dish to you. It's all taken care of. I am going to add a little bit of pepper. Now, my chicken was highly seasoned with salt, so I don't add any salt to it. Plus, the soup has salt in it. But if you want to add some extra salt, you can. I want a little bit of pepper. I don't want that big chunk of pepper, though. I'm going to pop this in a 350-degree oven, and it needs to bake for about half an hour, 30, 40 minutes, something like that, until it's warmed all the way through and bubbly. So I'm going to take a quick break, clean up, pop this in the oven, and when I come back, we will start on our side dish of the hash brown sweet potatoes. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, now for the hash browns, you will need a couple of pounds of sweet potatoes. I have already peeled and boiled mine. If you want to cook them whole, some people like to do that, and sometimes I do that, but I think it's quicker to do it this way. Cook them whole until they're tender, pierced when you pierce it with a knife, and then let them cool, peel them, and cut them into bigger chunks, like 1-inch chunks, and let them, just drain them. I've got this little colander that I just put them in. I'm going to set them right there for a minute. Then you're going to need some bacon, like 6, 7 slices or so of bacon. But I want to show you something that I found at my grocery store, one of the grocery stores that I shop at. And I actually found it on clearance for $1.64. This was a pound of bacon that's already chopped up. It's Jimmy Dean, and it's already diced up. Let's go to the stove and you'll see what I'm talking about. This bacon is already in little tiny pieces. Look at this. It's already chopped up. That's brilliant. You know, why other companies don't think to do that is beyond me, because I'm telling you, that is something I use all the time. I use chopped up bacon in so many different dishes. And when I saw it the first time, I bought it to see how it tasted, because I'd never had that brand of bacon. And believe it or not all bacon is created equal. But it tasted delicious, and then I went back to get some more, and it was on sale for $3.99 a pound. Comes in 1 pound packages. But then they were clearancing it out. I don't know why, because it's still there, for $1.64. So I bought like 4 of them and popped them in my freezer. You can freeze bacon, so if you find it on sale, get it. Just pop it in your freezer, and then it's ready when you are. This is brilliant. So if you find the diced up bacon, buy it. It is a lifesaver. I'm going to work over here for a second. So I'm going to put a little splatter guard on my skillet so it doesn't pop everywhere. This is a great little investment for your kitchen. And it literally, you can find these at the Dollar Tree. So that's something you really will want to have in your kitchen. Now, I'm going to dice up an onion, and this is a huge onion. So I'm only going to use half of it because it is so big. I'm going to dice it up. And you can either go ahead and dice the whole onion. Sometimes I will do that and then, put half of it in a container or a Ziploc bag and keep it for when you use. I use onions in so many different dishes. Or you can just, pop it in the freezer, chop it up, pop it in your freezer, and then when you need onion, it's ready to go. So I'm going to just dice this up. I need a little bit of a sharpening on this knife, a little bit. All right. Oh, I smell that bacon. And I'm telling you, to me, I don't think many things smell better than bacon cooking. I love the scent. Oh, it's so funny sometimes at home. I'll be cooking. Sometimes it's breakfast and sometimes it's not. But I'll be using bacon, and I'll get a text from Aaron usually, because his bedroom's downstairs where I cook, and he'll say, "Do I smell bacon?" So I'm like, "Yep, you do." It's one of those scents that's just absolutely unmistakable. I'm also going to chop up some parsley. This is flat leaf Italian parsley, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you go to the store to buy your flat leaf parsley, pay attention, because the cilantro will be near it, and they look so much alike. And so you need to look at the little tag on there to make sure you've got Italian parsley. I mean, if you like cilantro, I guess you could put cilantro in this. I'm just not a fan. You either are or not on cilantro. I smell my bacon. It needs to be stirred. And there we go. Let's go over here and check on our bacon. Smelling good. You see how that's already, I just tickled me to death when I saw that. I was like, this is unreal. Why have people not thought of that before? That's the only brand I've ever seen do it. So we want to saute this until it's crisp. I'm going to turn it down just a hair because I don't really want it to pop out on me. You will also need some salt and some pepper. for your dish. I'm going to go ahead and add my onion. Now, normally I take the bacon out and set it aside and then add it at the end, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to saute it all together with the onion. If your bacon is extremely lean and you don't have enough fat rendering, I'm going to add my salt and pepper. You could add a little bit of butter to this. I mean, you know, butter's going to make everything taste good. If you need to. Only if you need to. This comes together really quick once you've got your sweet potatoes cooked. If you're not a fan of sweet potatoes, I can't imagine why you wouldn't be. They're absolutely delicious, but some people might not be. You could use regular potatoes. Just follow the same rule. Just peel them and dice them in bigger chunks and boil them, or boil them whole and peel them when they're done. You really just want to cook this until that onion has softened. It's so good. Oh, I love the smell of onions and bacon cooking together. At Thanksgiving, which is typically when people make stuffing, my mom, when she was alive and cooking Thanksgiving dinner, her stuffing always started with onion and celery being sauteed in butter. And I mean, she would have to put extra in there because I would always just get a dish of the celery and onion out and eat it when it's tender. Oh, I love cooked onions and celery. So, so, so good. All right, we're just going to let this saute for maybe a minute or so more. I'm just going to let this cook. When I come back, I'll show you how to finish up this dish, and we will make a delicious coleslaw as a side dish to our wonderful meal. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, now our bacon and onion is done. I'm going to add in some of that parsley. I don't think I'm going to add it all. Then I'm going to add in our sweet potatoes. And I'm just going to combine it. Now what you can do is put the sweet potatoes in a bowl and then top it with the bacon and all the other stuff. And then you just want to let them sit there for a minute to kind of marry their flavors. I've got the heat down way low. Oh, does that not look yummy? I really want to eat that right now. Looks really good. All right, that just needs to sit and do its thing for a minute. Now, let's get our coleslaw done. Let's get over here. For convenience sake, I'd like to just use a bag of the purchased coleslaw mix. If you want to shred your own cabbage, you can. You could use a combination of green and purple. Purple's actually my favorite. And then shred in some carrots if you have them. If you don't, then it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're going to make our dressing. I have here just a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, couple of tablespoons or so of canola oil or vegetable oil or olive oil if you want. You want to add a little bit of honey for sweetness, couple of tablespoons. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, so don't measure it. Just measure with your heart. And then a little salt and pepper. Whisk that. Look at my little baby whisk. I thought that was so cute. It's perfect for things like this. I love slaws of all kinds. It's just one of those things. Cabbage is my favorite vegetable. So I just love coleslaw, period. I have here about half a cup or so of chopped up walnuts. You could add pecans if you wanted to, up to you. And I have one Granny Smith apple because I want that tart. Granny Smith, of course, has that really tart flavor that I like in this dish. So I'm going to cut it in half again, and then cut the core out. And you can shred it or you can dice it, whatever you want to do. You could use, you know, a gala. You could use a yellow delicious. I find red delicious just doesn't have that much flavor, but if that's what you like, you can use that. Honeycrisp is really good in there. Honeycrisp is my favorite apple, but they're a little expensive. Sometimes you can get them on sale. And you want to just, I don't peel mine. I want to dice it up. I don't want it too fine. You know, just dice it up. And then add it. I like to add it to the bowl as I dice. Keep my work surface as free as possible. They have a little machine. Matter of fact, do I have one of those? I do. Want to try a machine out together? Let's see how this works. I've never done it with this one, so we'll do it together first. They have this little chopper. Let me get it. Okay, what is this one? What? Yeah, all right, let's try this one. I got 2 or 3 of them. This is from OXO. So let's try it. We're going to put our apple in there. Be careful. Let's see how quick this is. Wow, that's pretty fast. Let's see how the pieces come out. Okay, that's all right. They're a little bigger than the others, but that's okay. Perfect. Should have done the onion with that. And then it has this one has this little thing that you take off to clean it. Well, now that's cool. And it has the end. Never used this brand before on this. We did it together. That's neat. I like that. Boy, that saves a lot of time, doesn't it? If I'd cut my apples maybe a little thinner, would have diced it up a little bit more like that, but that's fine. Oh, that was quick. OXO brand, that's a neat little one. They make all kinds of different ones. I've got a Mueller brand I know over here. This one has the same type thing. Let's see what's this one. I have several of these little things. Now, this is the one I use at home a lot. It's a Mueller brand. You can get them on Amazon. This one has different blades that you can put in. So you could make, you know, little tiny dies. You could make medium. You could make large. There's a couple of other ones here that I don't have. There's a little thing that, an attachment to it that you can grate on. This is a good one too. This is Mueller brand, M-U-E-L-L-E-R. It's an Austrian brand. That's cool. And these are like 10 bucks, worth every penny. All right, we're gonna mix our slaw together. Whisk that up once more. Now, I tend to like mine a little tangy, so you might want to adjust the vinegar and or honey to your taste. I really like tangy dressings. And stir it up. Now, the slaw is going, or the cabbage is going to take in that salt, and it's going to release some water. So I would certainly stir this up again before you serve it. I just don't like my salads and things swimming in dressing. So you will find in most all of my recipes that the dressing is, you know, might not be enough for your taste. You could double it, or you could maybe, you know, make it and then half the recipe and add to it if you want a little more. I think if you put too much dressing on things, it takes away the flavor of the whatever it is you're dressing. in this case, slaw, salad, or whatever it is. So to me, that's perfect. But if you want, you know, a little more dressing, add to it. This does not have any mayonnaise, so it's perfect to take to a picnic or something because the mayonnaise is not going to be sitting out. This one is, you know, obviously it's like an oil and vinegar type thing. Delicious. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, you could use, I wouldn't use balsamic, but if you have white balsamic, that would work. If you have any flavored vinegars, I have a lot of different flavors of vinegar. There's raspberry vinegar, there's citrus vinegars, there's tons of different flavors. But you could use red wine vinegar in here. Balsamic, although I love balsamic vinegar, the reason I would not put that in this is balsamic is a dark color and it will stain the food. It won't look as pretty. It'll taste delicious, but it won't look as pretty. So, but they make a white balsamic vinegar that you could try at the grocery store, a Lessie brand, Alessie, I think is how it's spelled, or Alessy, I'm not sure. But anyway, they make a great balsamic and a white balsamic and a raspberry flavored infused balsamic. They're like $3 or $4 a bottle, so they're delicious. So this is ready to go. I'm just going to wait on the casserole to cook, and when I come back, we'll serve everything up and we'll get busy eating. I'll be back in just a minute. All righty, everything is done. Here is our chicken casserole. The topping just got golden brown, and when I took it out of the oven just a second ago, of course, you see that bubbling coming out from the sides. Oh, I cannot wait to eat that. I would advise you to let that sit for maybe 10 minutes before you get into it. Let those ingredients kind of cool down a little bit because that's boiling hot inside. So there's our chicken casserole. This is our apple slaw that we just made, and so good. And of course, our sweet potato hash browns, because they've got the bacon and the onion. You know, you could add red pepper to those, like the O'Brien hash browns. But I use sweet potatoes. If you wanted to use regular white potatoes, absolutely you could. But please do try the sweet potatoes because they're so good, and they're so good for you. A sweet potato has a lot of nutrients in it. And this, you know, with bacon, hey, your kids might even try it if it's got bacon on it. If you've got picky little eaters that don't want to try new things like a sweet potato, tell them it's got bacon in it. It does, and see if they'll eat it like that. But it is really, really good. All of these dishes are easy to make from my kitchen to yours. Thank you for joining me on Everyday Manna, and I'll see you next time.